morning, heart of South Philly. Let's go see what the people have got to say. I'm ready to roll, baby.
Now listen here, Dutch. Mets and the Cowboys, they suck.
1, 2, 3, go Birds! Go Birds! What we got? 302BIRDS, United States. Go Birds! Oh my gosh, Chad.
Your favorite Chicagoan. Go Phils.
As always, God bless. Go Birds.
Get your water ice and soft pretzels ready because you are now tuned into a 302BIRDS podcast experience. Proudly presented by TickPick, Nick's Pizza, El Diablo Burritos, and Klondike Kate's on the heart of Main Street. Let's take it to the show.
Damn, Skippy, you better get that water ice and popcorn ready because there's a lot going on right now in the city that's going to make it during the holiday season. Once we get to October, November, December, we're going to make it a fun holiday season, guys. Phillies are going to be having a parade. Eagles are going to be buzzing. It's going to be crazy, to say the least. How's everybody doing? My name is Dalton. You guys are watching 302BIRDS Season 6, Episode 21. Out on June 26, 2024. I'm joined by Air Jordan Jackson, hanging out in Virginia. Frank Longo, one of our favorite guests, Uncle Frank, coming to talk some hockey, coming to the rescue tonight. And if you guys don't know, our fabulous GM, who is holding it down all the time, Ashley, joining us. Going to be a good show, but I'll just go ahead and get right into our call-in intro and then Ballpark Tommy because it's only the four of us tonight, so it's a little bit of a lighter staff. It's 4th of July season. Understandable. But I want to thank El Diablo and Nick's Pizza for sponsoring both of the upcoming segments.
What do I want when I'm in the state of Delaware? Of course, El Diablo Burritos. Customer service always is serving your food with a smile on their face, asking how your day is, but their food is phenomenal as well. Their burritos are out of this world, one of the best burritos in town. Their queso is phenomenal. Their burrito bowls are amazing as well. When you're in and around Delaware, stop by your local El Diablo Burritos and tell them that 302BIRDS sent you. God bless.
Time for Phillies talk with Ballpark Tommy. Finger stitch. You know, Dutch, you aren't here tonight, and I miss you. I don't know if he'll be here next week because it is his birthday. And I don't know if he'll be here the week after that because it's still his birth week. Just saying. But one birthday gift that I know Tom Salucci is very excited about the Phillies giving him, guys, is Taijuan Walker being off of this team. How are you guys feeling about the guy being gone?
The only injury this season that has not made me severely concerned about this team. I never wish injury on anyone ever. However, this one I was like, okay, I think that we are good. I don't want to say that we're better off without him, but we are good. And I am so excited. Having Spencer back that connection is just awesome. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I definitely think it saved our pitching crew because Taijuan Walker has had very horrible games. And it just like whenever he's on the mound, I always, clinch my fist because I know it's going to be, not a good situation. So like Ashley said, I don't wish injury upon anyone. But if I had to, it would be this person because he hasn't really done much for the Phillies. And it definitely makes it a lot easier for our pitchers to pitch, a pretty good game. So definitely wish the best of luck for him, but at the same time, I'm happy that he's not in the rotation.
I think it's pretty tough for this. I think he's a good locker room guy right now. It's still tough to see a guy go like that. Definitely like this. I think he's a pro. I think he's going to sit back and see how bad this season's going. I think he's going to come back hot. This is typical Philadelphia fashion. He might be not a Philly next year, but this year, I mean, he's going to get hurt. He's going to really readjust himself. He's a professional. He's been here for like 8 years in MLB, I think. He is a true professional. I think he's just going to only get better, tell you the truth. He's going to be a monster. And it's typical Philly. Philly will let him go. He'll go on another team, and then he'll win a freaking trophy.
Yeah, that is the most Philly thing ever, right? Or they make the Pro Bowl. They end Eric Rowe, Rasul Douglas. The list goes on and on. But the one thing I did see with Walker being out, unfortunate news today. Turnbull goes out, plays 3 innings, got 1 hit, 1 error, 1 home run, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. I heard some people say that his game was better than the stats showed for, which I didn't get to watch it, so I can't speak on that. But the downfall is he's going to be undergoing some tests for a potential injury. That's not good. What's going on, Rich? If you guys aren't, please join the Eagles Mania Facebook group. Shout out to them. They are holding it down, doing an awesome job for us. But back to Walker, Turnbull, and Mercado, the 3 of them. I mean, for Turnbull, I mean, he's a real piece now. He's a real asset, I think, what Philly robbed. Taking him out, he said, "We'll know tomorrow. I wanted to be safe." So the fact that Philly Rob actually is caring about Turnbull and like recognizing him as a starter, recognizing his health is like an important thing now that we're halfway into the season, I think is a very good sign for us Philadelphia Phillies fans between the Walker Turnbull debate that's happened all year. Then Mercado comes in and he's kind of filling the role of what I guess you could say Turnbull was, where he wasn't that starter. He just kind of was coming in. Mercado had a pretty good game too. I mean, only on 15 pitches, but 1 strikeout, no hits, no runs. And I looked up his stats from 2023. They looked pretty solid too. Dude's fastballs were hitting 97 miles per hour. He was looking pretty crisp. So I think that the Phillies are in pretty good hands with these 2 guys. I don't think that Walker should ever step foot on any mound, any dirt in Philadelphia again, unless it's at Franklin Roosevelt Park and he's hanging out with me and Ballpark Tommy and we're crushing some dingers off of him, because it's not a good thing for this team. Clearly it throws off the chemistry, and I'm not about it. Now I want to ask you guys, are anybody, and we can start with our guest Frank, is anybody about Juan Soto to Philly? Because I don't know. I think that this would be a waste of money and it would throw off everything that the Phillies are working for right now.
You're the number 1 team in the league. And if you ain't growing, you're dying. So, and my thing is, go for it. Why not? Like, why not? If you're not growing, you're dying. You got to keep thinking of the future.
You're saying if they can afford it, go ahead and pull the trigger, go for it?
Absolutely. But my fear is having too many superstars. Mm-hmm. There's not going to be a great locker room. And I think it's all about the locker room. I think Rob's really good, and I think our GM's really good of seeing who could gel. And I mean, we're loving even the backup players. What's the backup catcher's name? Oh God, help me out, Thal. Where's
not Stubbs, right?
Stubbs.
Not Stubbs.
A lot of people are not liking Stubbs right now. You like him?
I love him, dude. I listen to his music playlist every single day. It is amazing. It is one of my favorite playlists on that. So it's like awesome. And I think he's just one of the locker room guys. Like, you could hate on him, but you definitely need a great locker room guy. And I've been playing on teams since I was a little kid. And you always have that one guy that's just a goofball that even after a rough game or a tough loss, he could crack a joke on the bus and just make everybody sort of smile and not be too much. He's still serious about the game, but still can make you laugh.
That guy right there was probably that guy on the team. But I know what you mean. Like, in work, in life, in sports, in everything, having somebody that can lighten the mood, like, it's like a camaraderie thing for anything in life.
You can't be serious all the damn time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I get that. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I will say
I'm
no
like
to
the biggest
Soto.
goofball ever. So, I mean, truthfully, yeah, you need one of
You
them.
would be that guy in the locker room too,
Yeah.
truthfully thinking about it. But I
Like, you
don't
need a
want
Gronk
Soto.
with a
I'm
Tom
just going to
Brady.
say it would throw off chemistry and everything that this team is invested in. Like, I would rather go all in on a couple of different players because you have a less chance of all of them fucking up than one guy. Like, they're already spending so much money on Bryce, Trey. I want to keep Schwarber at this point. Marsh, I think, is, and especially Bohm. Bohm went through that year with arbitration. They're going to have to pay him upcoming. So I think that they need to be mindful of that. And also, like, what they have right now, these guys are gelling. Maybe they need a backup catcher. Maybe Stubby turns it up. Huh?
And Bone was already like in the conversation of being an MVP in the beginning of the year. So, I mean, he's just a stud too. He's going to get paid. So we got to sort of like look out for what our future is, because some of these young guys that were like, oh, the rookies. No, man, they've been in the league for like 3 or 4 years and they're showing some really positive moves. I mean, even looking at Rojas, I mean, he's one of the best defensive centers in the league. Still needs to get the back going, and I understand that. But if he gets his back going, we're going to talk about another guy that could be an all-star. So, I mean, Bohm and Stott are already all-stars. They have my vote, already voted. Remember, everybody on this, please vote for these damn Phillies because they're on fire.
They are on fire.
So Dombrowski said he is willing to, fish over all the money we need to bring good players to Philly. So Juan Soto would be a good addition to the team. But as Richard said, I mean, the one empty spot on this lineup is an actual closing pitcher. We have Alvarado, who's not really a closing pitcher, but we need that pitcher that we can rely on, who can get 3 outs in the bottom of the ninth or top of the ninth, and get us to win. I mean, it would be nice to have Juan Soto, but I think we still need to look more into a pitcher because our pitching has definitely improved from previous seasons, but at the same time, we still need that guy on the mound that can pitch, strike out. We need that closer. And so I would be more interested in getting a closer more than Juan Soto.
Some other name that's been thrown around, a center fielder, is there were rumors that were debunked a couple weeks ago, and then I saw them resurfacing again this week, would be Luis Robert Jr. from the White Sox. I'm not sure how I feel about that for a million and different reasons. However, I think let's be honest, center field right now is, other than pitching, I would say it's our least confident position, at least for
reliable.
Me reliable. Thank you. What I was looking for.
I'll say it.
He would be great. Just gonna say that.
Do you think Castellanos would like that? Like, I'm just thinking like Castellanos, Marsh, and him. Can I see them getting along? I mean, can you see Marsh and Castellanos getting along? I mean, it's just such a crazy like team that we have right now. It's just, we have a caveman in left field. We got, Nicky from South Philly on right field. And then we have like, these tall, big green pole at third base. And then we have Trey. And it's just, and then we have, of course, Harper at first. It's just a hysterical team to look at because they don't look like a baseball team. They look like those guys like you're coming back from high school and you're like, hey, guys, what's up? Because they're all from different walks of life. And that's what I think makes this baseball team so great to watch, because it's just watching these guys come from wherever they came from and they just gel so well together. And they just are definitely from different walks of life.
Yeah.
Now, Frank, let me ask you, would you say Bryce Harper for NL MVP right now? Is that a hot take or is that an obvious take?
I'm going to even go wilder. I'm going to put Bohm over Harper.
RBI king.
True.
Why not? He's been.
It's definitely between the two of them batting wise this season. I mean, that's no doubt. That's a fair point. And I think Bohm is
Harper's
up
at
there
first
with
base,
Hart.
so you can't
One of
say
the two.
defensively Harper's better than Bohm. I would rather have. Would you rather have Harper at third or Bohm at third? I'm just talking defensively. Bohm gets ripped at more than Harper at all times. I'm putting Bohm over Harper right now. And I can't believe I'm saying it, but that's my hot take of the week, of actually this summer, of the Philly season. That's my hot take. Hate on me.
Oh, there it is. Book it. Book it.
Book it. Book it. Now, is he going to get the MVP? No. Will
Don't book
Harper?
it.
Yeah, because of the name.
Yeah, I think Harper should win it. Jack, how are you feeling about it? I mean, do you think that it could be another one for Behart?
I mean, that's the hope. His bat has definitely been connecting often now. Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, we can hear you. You're all good.
All right, sorry. I mean, Harper, his bat is now connecting than it has in the past, month. So it's tough. Like, what do you base MVP on? Do you base him off of offensive and defensive play, or what? That's the question that we want to ask. I mean, I think Alec Boehm has definitely had some errors that are very, very timely and have caused a lot of issues. But how are you basing who wins MVP? We can talk about
I think
how
off
many
of
home
two
runs.
things combined. Sorry, I don't know if you're asking me or if you're just saying in
Yeah, no,
band.
I'm asking in general.
I would say, and you guys tell me if you disagree, I think based on, like Jack said, individual, like in baseball, fielding's one thing. We know the guy can field. So let's talk about it in the way that, offensive production, which is at bats, batting, how are you doing, and team wins. I think those two things combined should make up the MVP in any sport. Your success rate on your position, whether it be offensive and defensive or just offensive like in the NFL. And then speaking of your team wins, like if your team sucks, you're not going to win the MVP. We all know that. We've seen very good players not win the MVP before just because they were on bad teams. So what's up, Connor? How are you, man? But I do think that just because the Phillies' success, his individual success, it is a perfect storm for a Bryce Harper MVP. So honestly, I may run to my DraftKings account after this or my Bet Rivers account here in Delaware and put a little money line on it because the Phillies, I think, as a result as well, have been the best team in the MLB. I mean, Ash, I see you nodding your head. You've definitely been watching a lot. Do you think that, they are undisputed the best team in the MLB, or would you say it's close with the Yankees?
I would say it's close with the Yankees because ultimately they are having more games that even if we pull it out, it's not great, right? There's clearly some points of disconnect. Then we'll have 5 or 10 games where we look pretty solid. So I'm hoping that as we kind of figure out kinks with now the majority of the team being back from injury for a little bit more of a sustained time, hopefully they're back in the rhythm of things. So I would say give it another week before I'm willing to call them the best team in baseball.
Okay, so consistency is what you want. Jack, Frank?
Jack, you go.
What was the question?
Do you think that the Phils are the best team in baseball, or do you think it's close with the Yanks? Like undisputed Phillies are the best team in baseball to you, or is it closer with the Yankees than some people would think?
I would say undisputed because call me crazy for saying that, but we've had not a lot of injuries, but having those individual players step up when we need them, like Dahl, for example. I mean, our farm league now is definitely improving on prospects to bring up to the major leagues. So I think at a 30,000 view, I think the Phillies are the best team in the MLB because they can they're super versatile. If someone's not playing the greatest game, like let's say Bryce Harper's not playing the greatest game, we have somebody who can fit in perfectly and step up to the mound, hit some RBIs. I mean, Alec Boehm, like I said earlier, I mean, he's just playing out of his mind, all the RBI. I think he's leading in the MLB right now with RBIs. I could be wrong. But just these individual players that, are star players when they go down on injury or, they need a rest, these guys stepping up and performing phenomenal. I think that's what defines the best team in the MLB. And I think that's the Phillies right now.
So this is what scares me about these conversations. This is the worst. So I'm going to ask you guys the question: who won the NL in the past 2 years?
I know it
In
was
the-
Harper in 2022,
No, no, no.
right?
No,
No,
This
NL like as teams.
that's
to go
Oh,
into-
Phillies and Diamondbacks, right?
No, it was
No.
Atlanta.
Yeah,
Atlanta. And what did they do in the playoffs?
They folded.
That week off. This is
Yeah.
what sort of scares me. Hey, we are the best. I would say we're the top team in maybe one or two right now. I don't care if we're number one all the way through the season. My biggest fear is playoffs. That's what it's all about. Red October. I don't want to hear. This is what scares me the most because the Phillies are hot. I don't care, and I am a big Phillies fan. Always a diehard Phillies fan. But what scares me the most right now is: are we ready to take off that week? Are we well prepared for this? What is Rob's idea if we do? But I don't want to look too ahead. I want to do every week is a new season. And just looking at the numbers right now with the Phillies, I think 2 weeks ago we basically matched the Mets in win and losses. Yeah, we're still hot. We're still up. We are a couple games ahead. But we just got to keep grinding. My biggest fear in these conversations is playoffs and that week off. Because, I mean, you guys saw it. Atlanta was flat-footed every game one against the Phillies in Atlanta. We took one in Atlanta, and then we went back home and won it. Those are my biggest fears right now, and I don't know what your guys' thoughts on that is. But, yeah, I would say the Phillies are top or maybe number two. I mean, it's like a hairline right now with the Yankees. But I wouldn't even call it – I'm going to be nervous about every team that makes the playoffs because look at the Diamondbacks, look at LA, look at the Phillies 2 years ago. They weren't even supposed to make the playoffs and they made it, and they made it to all the way to the World Series. So that's why it makes it the best playoffs in Major League Sports. That's what makes it so great.
I do hear your point on that too, and I think that I'm with Jack, undisputed for sure. They can't know that they're undisputed though. It's almost like when you have like a kid that's good at football in high school. You don't want to tell them that they're good because then they're going to get a big head. Or like in those boxing movies, they don't try to tell the kid that they're a good boxer because then the kid's going to get cocky and they're going to kind of lay off the gas pedal, if that makes sense. So I think as fans, we can openly discuss it right now all we want. There's no way in hell Bryce Harper listens to this podcast. And if he does, hey, man, give me a call. I'd love to get you on here. But in all seriousness, what we do, you guys know, it doesn't affect that team at all. What they do affects that team. So I just think as a team, they need to understand any media outlets, not us, not 94 WIP, not, 97.5 The Fanatic, all of them, PHLY, all the big dogs. They need to understand that no matter what people are saying, they can't listen to it and they just need to show up and perform.
One last point, and then we can move on. The Yankees don't scare me at all because the Yankees remind me of our. No, listen, they remind me of our good old Sixers. They have a really hot, season, and then they're out second round in the playoffs. So I am not too worried about the Yankees right now. We have seen it time and time again that the Yankees have a great. I mean, what was it 2 seasons ago, 3 seasons ago? They had one of the best records in the league, and then they just folded in the playoffs. So I'm not too worried about the Yankees right now.
Well, good for you and lucky enough for you, buddy. They're getting ready to come to town, and maybe you and I will be joining each other, going to the series, putting our money where our mouth is. But I will say a positive transitioning now is I'm confident in the Phils too because of a lot of players. Harper, Bohm, not just those two guys, but the dog barking in Detroit tonight. He's getting the job done. I mean, Brandon Marsh today, guys, went 4 for 4, had a home run, a hit, 4 RBIs. Right now, the dude's averaging .269, 7 home runs on the year. I'd like to see him crank that up a little bit more. In the beginning of the year, he was hot, fast. But I would like to see him. He's on pace right now for 14 to 15 home runs at the end of the year, maybe 16. I want to see him bump that up a little bit. If you can finish the year with 17 to 20 home runs, I looked at his stats a couple years ago. He's usually in like the 8 to 12 range. I would be very impressed with that. I would be very happy with that. So I think it's awesome of how Brandon Marsh has really blossomed into not only an awesome player, we've seen the athleticism that the guy has going up, catching the ball, and his family, you know, the Olympian. Obviously, the dude's an athlete. There's no question about that. His batting has really matured. He's taken a step forward this year as power hitter. The OPS is up a lot. I mean, he's right now at a .770. MLB, like all-star, insane, very good levels, like .800, .900. So the dude is going off right now, I think, really having a career year. And I just think it's awesome of how well he's not only blossomed into an awesome player on the field, but off the field too. That's what really sells it in this city. When you're a good player and you do good things off the field, this city, these fans, me, Jack, Ash, Frank, maybe not them, but me, I'll take a fucking bullet for you.
So the thing about the home runs bumping it up, Brandon Marsh is not a home run guy. He's an RBI guy, I think. Him and Alec Bowman are RBI guys. He's that defensive player we need in the field. But Brandon Marsh is not that heavy bat that gets it out of the park. He's more of an RBI guy, single doubles. I mean, he's playing phenomenal this year. I'm glad to see what he's doing. But I mean, who cares about his home runs? As long as he gets his RBIs, I think that's what his role in this offense is.
And this is also where you need to consider, too, that he was injured. I mean, to be completely frank, he had a period of this season where he was injured. So the fact that he's putting up the stats that he is now, I mean, sky's the limit on what it could have been. So my hope is that he just keeps up with this current pace and just keeps going, because that's what we need. We just need consistency. I say this time and time again, we don't need those hero players. We need those people who are consistent. They play well consistently. And he is, again, one of those guys, and it has been great to see him really having so much fun this last series in Detroit.
Mm-hmm. Frank?
I loved it. I watched the game actually today while I was actually working in my office, and I was like, "Oh my God, Brandon's going off today! Like, what's going on here?" And I'm not saying it in a mean way. I just love seeing this guy. I mean, I'm one of his.
You were definitely saying, "Let's go, Brandon," today, weren't you? I said that. I said not to get political, but like that would definitely sell like water, that T-shirt right now. Because today,
Right
I mean,
now,
a lot of Philly fans were probably saying, "Let's go, Brandon."
Yeah, so I was just laughing so hard with him. I was like, man, like this guy, like everybody has his back. It's just like everybody's rooting for this guy, and it's just like he's sort of the underdog story that we all truly love in Philadelphia. And I'm rooting for this guy all the way, and I really like him.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but when he came from the Angels, I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, and I'm obviously not a big baseball fan. As Philly fans, I think it's fair to say we keep up mainly with the Birds, with the Phillies a lot. I'm just not a big Phillies fan. I keep up with more with this. I used to, I should say. I kept up more with the Sixers when I was in college more than the Phillies. So I really think you're right. Like, he's really filled that role of a Philadelphia athlete and embraced it. And that's not an easy thing to do, which actually, Frank, is a perfect transition. I don't know. Are you a psychic or something, man, or just a natural? Because that's actually a perfect segue into our next segment. Getting on the ice, talking about some Flyers.
He shoots, he scores! Time for Slap Shots with Zep. Flyers talk from 302 Birds.
All right, we couldn't get Zep for you guys tonight. Thank you to Ashley for joining us. We appreciate you as always. Best GM in the world. We couldn't get Zep. Obviously, we couldn't get the Russian himself. Tom Salucci. Get ready to speak Russian, buddy, because he is on the flight right now from the motherland, coming to the motherland in Philadelphia. Get your cheesesteaks ready, because we better show this guy a good time. The number 2 overall prospect. I know some people are concerned about his height and about his weight. But Frank Longo, can you please give me and the fans of 302 Birds some reassurance on this guy and tell me why this guy is the most hyped player for the Flyers since Lindros?
So this is actually kind of crazy to think about. Flyers were actually good in the early 90s, right before we got Big E. So there was a little bit of hype around the Flyers. This guy.
What year were you born, Frank? Not to interrupt you.
88.
So you were the good luck charm. Me and Jordan were the bad luck charm. Sorry.
So I think he's going to be the next big thing in Philadelphia. I think we haven't had the next big thing since Eric Lindros, I would say. And I think he's comparable to Big E. Now, I'm not saying like he's going to have the great career like Eric Lindros or his, career is going to be cut short. But this is going to be my hot take. If he has a career like Claude Giroux, it is a bust. That's my hot take.
What needs to separate him? That Stanley Cup, would you say, or what would he need to bring to Philadelphia?
Just really, we're already. So the rumors we're having right now is the free agency started for the NHL, and Danny Briere is getting a lot more phone calls than he got last year because he's coming. It's actually insane because he wasn't supposed to be drafted at all. The KHL actually let go of his contract. Shout out to actually the Russian league for allowing it after his father passed away. His father's biggest dream was to get him into the NHL. And when his father did pass away, the KHL actually let go of his contract after 3 years, so he wanted to go to the NHL. A lot of people were still worried about, hey, is the KHL going to keep him or not? Or, a lot of like uncertainty there. Danny Briere, I salute you. You pulled the trigger, man, and you got a real winner. Salute on Danny Briere. I think the Flyers are really taking a huge U-turn for the past 2 years, and I'm really excited for this. Now, the big question is, can this kid handle Philadelphia? I think he's going to handle it really well. I mean, it's really a good town, hockey town, especially when people are starting to get behind the Flyers. I mean, the past, I would say, since 2012 when we got swept from the Boston Bruins, we haven't been back since. We've been mediocre. And this kid stepping on the ice, I think he's going to be the best player on the ice already for next season. And kid's just amazing. He's so good. And putting him like I'm even this hype, there's not that much hype. It's because the Flyers aren't hot right now. If this was maybe, when we're actually, getting the playoffs, deep into playoffs, this would be all over the news media, sports media in Philadelphia. I'm comparing this guy to Big E. I see him being the next big thing. And we didn't even have to trade that much for him. So that's my hot take, guys.
Jack, do you have any thoughts on it? Or I know you're not the biggest Flyers fan. I had to do about 2 hours of research to be able to talk that educated about the team, guys. I do want to say, though, I know that Bedard This is
interesting. This is interesting. Already projected to be on the line with Forrester and Frost. How do you feel about that, Frankie?
He's going to be the best damn player on that team already. I'm telling you right now, he's so damn. He's only 19.
Jesus Christ! Holy hell! Thank you, Jesse, for bringing that to us. I did not know that. So
Jesse's actually credentialed media for the Flyers. So Jesse, we got to get you on here one show. Shoot me a message, especially once we get more into the Flyer season, when people start getting more excited for it and we're talking more Flyers. We'll bring him on here. He is from Old City Sports. If you guys aren't, please give Old City Sports a follow. They're crushing it over there. Thank you, Jesse. We appreciate you for joining us tonight. But my biggest thing, too.
Do you think he still has the big hype? Comment that down. Do you think he has the bit good as the hype for comparing him to as Big E?
I think so. I think he's going to take it well. Bedard, I think that they got through. They saw Bedard's true colors. They figured him out quick. They rooted out the weeds and figured out this kid is not built for Philadelphia and got him as far away from this. Well, not necessarily, but in Chicago, which was great. Then they go out and get Michkov, and I think that Maddie coming into town, like I said, Tom Salucci, get ready to speak Russian, buddy, because the Flyers are going to be on the rise, and this kid is going to be, like Frank said, too, the next big thing, I think. People are going to get excited about the Flyers again because of one player. Like, especially when this kid starts catching steam and starts getting hot, especially in the NHL, now he's got a chip on his shoulder because, like you mentioned, Frank, his dad just passed away. And if his dad's dream for him to make it to the NHL, Philly, get ready. You're going to see a whole other side of this kid because now his number one goal is not going to be to win MVP. It'll be a goal, not to, necessarily it's going to be to win a trophy. It's going to be to get the glory at the highest level for his family. So get ready.
It's scary. When we got him, I was like, my jaw was hitting the floor and I'm like, oh, this is the greatest thing. And this is what I'm going to say. In GM world of Philadelphia, Howie Roseman, Danny Briere. That I never saw a team just do a quick switch like Danny Briere is doing. Usually with the Philadelphia, like with the NHL, it takes you probably like 3 to 5 years to turn around as a GM. He's turning it around in 1 year or 2. Well, technically 2 because next season. But just what he's doing, he's just cutting the fat. He got Torts. Torts is a perfect coach for a young team. He just loves the nitty gritty and just gets the young man these young guys into the nitty gritty. And I just think he's just a perfect fit for this. Danny Briere is setting up for success. And I think that's the best thing. He's not looking for, I'll get a Kachuk now that's, super expensive. And you know what? He's not going to go for a run for it. Why are we going to waste our money on it? He's growing a great base for the Philadelphia Flyers right now. And then now they're going to start getting phone calls of free agents. Now they're going to start getting, I want to play on this kid. I want this. I want that. And it's so fun.
I think we should all try to go to a game one time soon when they get good with Jesse because Jesse knows his shit about the Flyers. Sorry, go ahead, Jack.
This is just a question because I hate the Sixers so much. With the addition of Michkov, do we think the Flyers will win a championship or the Stanley Cup before the Sixers win?
Yes, I think that they have a way better shot at winning a championship over the Sixers, I would say. Frank, agree?
Every year.
Tonight it depends. Is LeBron coming to Philly yet? I haven't.
It's all about the draft tonight. Like, where's Bronny going? Is Bronny getting drafted first round? That is another good big question of the night. It's tough to win the cup. It is one of the hardest trophies I think to get in Major League sports. I can't say that the Flyers are going to win it quicker than most, especially that we're in a rebuild. Well, not rebuild, we're rising. That's a better way to put it. But on paper the Sixers look good, but I'm going to say the Flyers beat them.
Hey, my confidence
be more entertaining.
My confidence for these damn Sixers, no matter who we add to the team, we're gonna be a second round out. Like, we're not getting to the finals. We're not getting to the Eastern Conference finals. We're not doing that.
I do salute the NHL because old NHL is back, baby. The fighting minutes are up, I think 34% in the past 3 years, and most of that percentage is because of fighting. They're bringing it back. They're starting to understand the culture of hockey, what people still want to watch. They still want to watch some big hits. They're still protecting their players and stuff, but they're still understanding the game and they're understanding the code. They don't want to they're not stepping away from the code. And the code is probably one of the most important things in hockey. I think a lot of hockey players can agree with that. Because once you get away from the code, more players are going to get hurt, definitely superstars. So I like that they're keeping the code in hockey and they're actually letting it go more often. And I'm really enjoying hockey in the past couple of years.
It's definitely had a resurgence. I think because of our team's relevance, definitely this year helped make it more entertaining. But you're right. Like the fighting minutes being up is such a great point. Like as just an old school sports fan, hockey has always been a sport where people have fought, stuff like that. So it's good to see. I am excited to see here if
Like
Bronny
one
James
thing.
comes to Philly, because I guess that the pick's in. So keep an eye on that. I guess that they frayed. I don't know if that means traded, maybe. But you'll have to let me know in the chat. Anyway, Hassan Reddick doesn't want to play for the New York Jets. Can't say I necessarily blame the guy. I mean, bro would rather watch anime than literally go out there for camp. But I will say this, guys. I will say this.
How he did it. How he pulled it.
Wait,
This has nothing to do with Howie. This is all just between New York
Time out.
and Hassan. Huh?
The Sixers drafted Jared McCain from Duke.
Good pick, bad pick. You're more of a college basketball guy than me.
I think it's a good pick. I mean, he was that workhorse on Duke in the tournament last year, March Madness. So I think it's going to be big. I mean, we'll see how Max and him work because he's a point guard. But I think I like the pick a lot. I mean, I think he's a very versatile player. So we'll see what he can do for sure. But I just want to let you guys know that. Sorry, not to interrupt.
I wonder if that means that Maxi's out of here, and now if they're going to go get Bronny and then get LeBron. No, I'm kidding.
You're out of your mind.
Am I kidding, though? I don't know. Hey, who the fuck knows with Daryl Morey? Let's just calm our mind and think about something else. Let's talk about somebody else's problems instead of ours. But back to Reddick. I'll say this, guys. Now that training camp is going to start, if he skips out on these practices and these games, he's going to start eating $50,000 fines each time. So they're quickly going to make a boy or a girl of this and decide, okay, are you coming back or are you literally not playing until we give you a new contract? He has the money, don't get me wrong, but I mean, think about it, 20 days. That's, is that $1 million? 50,000 plus 50,000. Yeah, 20 days. So if he skips 20 of those, I don't think that there's 20 of them, but it's going to start adding up quickly. So would you guys say that this stems from the way that he kind of departed from Philadelphia? Do you guys think Hassan Reddick was done dirty, or do you think that he just doesn't want to fucking play for the Jets?
I think it's both, truthfully. I think he got a bad taste in his mouth. There's something had to happen between Philly and Reddick. I don't know what happened. I just don't understand where this came from because he was all Philly all last year. Well, 2 years ago, he was all about it, all about Philadelphia. And then there was just something about him that just threw me off on a couple of his press conferences that I was like, something's up. Something's going on. He's asking for a lot of money. Did he play that great this year? Okay. He still has the name. I like him. Don't get me wrong. I wanted to buy his jersey. Thank God I didn't. But I just think he's sort of sourpussing and trying to see where he can go. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to go to another contender. I wouldn't be surprised if he, goes to maybe, somewhere crazy, maybe against our rivals, somewhere down in Dallas. I wouldn't be surprised he goes somewhere to, go like this to the two Eagles, but he's gone from the Jets. I don't understand why, because he does have Aaron Rodgers on the other side of the ball. So, I mean, the Jets aren't the Jets what they used to be. So, I mean, Aaron Rodgers got hurt. Yeah, but they almost still made the playoffs with a backup quarterback and not a great quarterback. So I would have just taken my lumps and still played for these guys. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, okay, well, if he really wanted to play in Philly, you would think he would take the hometown deal, for 1 year and then kind of boost up the the earnings. But I mean, I'm not really sure what all happened, what was said. I mean, I think money was the biggest issue. But if he really was a Philly guy, which he is, you would think he would want to play no matter the money. Because I mean, last year he didn't really play the greatest. I think the best breakout year was 2 years ago. But I mean, we'll see. We'll find out, down the road what happened to him. But it's just a shame. I mean, somebody needs to pick him up because he's definitely a great player and he still has, a lot of life left in his career in the NFL. So we'll see what happens.
And I think it's more he's pissed off at the environment. If you look at somebody like Daniil Hunter, who's kind of bounced around, a longtime Viking, $49 million 2-year deal he just got with the Texans. He's also 29 years old. So I think a lot of this is stemming from like New York. Like, why don't you want me? Like, you should see my resume. You should see the things that I've done in my career. Like, give me that money. I've earned it. And to New York fans on the flip side, and I kind of get this perspective too, they're like, dude, you just freaking got here. Like, we haven't seen jack shit from you. And New York fans and Philly fans are cut from the same cloth. So it kind of surprises me a little bit that Hassan acts this way, because I know that there's a lot of Jets fans that are literally saying, chill, like literal Jets sources, chill, Jets fans. This is all going to work itself out. This is going to make a boy or a girl of it once training camp hits. That's very true. But I think he is very upset at the Jets organization for he feels not taking him serious as a professional financially. On the flip side, like I said, he just freaking got there. So Jets fans are like, dude, like, prove it. Prove it again, respectfully. And no disrespect to him, but I mean, he's under contract for all of 2024 with the Jets. So he should be there next year, and they don't got to do anything about it right now. They aren't obligated.
And here's my favorite, like my thing on him is I think he also overestimated the market value of himself. I mean, you look at Parsons, I mean, he gets paid a buttload, but his numbers are crazy and almost doubled his. And it's just, I think he overestimated how much he was worth. And it's not against him or anything like that, but right now that market's hot for these guys. But at the same time, he didn't produce last year. If he produced last year, I think he would have saw big money. But I'm just in that like scenario, like, all right, you're in that bubble. Are you going to be good this year? Or are you going to be, the same old, not mediocre, but above average? And I think that's where we're at with him.
Another thing that, like we said, people said in the chat, they kept dropping him back in coverage. And that's not what his role is on the defense. His role is to bring pressure to the quarterback and not drop in coverage. And maybe that was defense coordinator struggling to, coach. But other than that, I mean, this defense with Vic Fangio, moving on to next year, the Eagle chemistry to me is definitely building. The Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship, definitely has been a good marriage. Coach, how do you feel about this?
He's just a coach that not only educates you in football, but in life. Let's kick it to Coach's Corner.
You men know the drill. Let's see it on my count. Ready, set, go. First off, everybody shut the hell up. I want to give a huge thank you to my favorite restaurant in Delaware. No lie, it is absolutely Klondike Kate's. Been going there since I was a baby, living on that stuff. The best food and drinks around. Thank them for sponsoring that segment. But, oh my goodness, boys, I'm glad you brought me back. Got my bum-ass nephew out of here, and I'm ready to talk about some chemistry. I'm talking about A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith having more chemistry than two sixth graders at a middle school dance. Seriously, these guys are closer than a redneck and his sister. Oh, there it is. Anyway, I do think that this team's chemistry looks very, very good. And the fact that these men lost the Super Bowl together, let me tell you something about when you lose with your brothers, when you lose with your friends. It's a different kind of bond, a different kind of camaraderie when you get your ass kicked together. You've been through something together. So I got no doubt, gentlemen, that this Philadelphia Eagles team, I think top to bottom, has the most chemistry in the NFL. I'm talking smoother than peanut butter and jelly, spaghetti and meatball. Gentlemen, how you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the best chemistry we've had as, within the last 10 years on the Eagles. I mean, now it's what, year 3 with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. I think that is a great duo. They are probably the best duo in the NFL or maybe on the NFC. But like the rookie Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship, they are a great duo as well. So I think what Vic Fangio is going to bring to this team, and even Kellen Moore, is this chemistry, working together as a team, where we didn't really see that last year. It kind of, to me, felt like they were on cruise control. They were pissed off with the coach's decisions or whatever. Now, the fact that they have two really good coordinators, defense and offense coordinators, I think they have the locker room under control, and they're really trying to work with this team, work with these players to get that chemistry, because that is one big thing. I'm sure for anyone who plays Madden out there, Mutt Ultimate Team, the biggest thing for your team to be good is chemistry. And I think that is something that we were missing last year. It seemed like we didn't really have that with Jalen Hurts and the offense. But I think with these two coordinators now that we have now, I think this is going to be a good marriage, and I think we'll see night and day difference from last year to this year with the chemistry.
I think that actually scared me this offseason when Fletcher Cox retired was, all right, he's going to be that guy. And the number one guy that I was sort of like hoping, and he blew me away in his press conference during, I think, minicamp, was Jalen Carter. He really shocked me. He goes, nope, this is a different world. I'm going to be in charge of it. I think that seed is going to just go right on his patch right away. You just see him just like really carrying himself well, especially with the media. Didn't see him on the field yet, but I mean, how he was just talking about the team and how he's talking to the other players and how he was focusing on just not the D line. He goes, hey, like what's a better move here for the middle linebackers? What's a better spot for the safety here? And he was just discussing about the team as a whole instead of his position. When he was younger, he was just talking about the D line or just his position himself. But when he was talking in the minicamp, it was like, hey, the D looks great. D looks awesome. Our secondary looks great. He's talking about the whole team, and he's talking about how he can make his team look better. And that was just such a veteran move that I'm like, okay, this guy was so worth picking, because you don't get that all the time with young guys. And he's only like, 22, 23. And it's just so great to hear that, because I feel like Fletcher was so comfortable because he didn't have to retire. He was one of his best years last year. And I think he knew that it was okay to let go of the reins. And I think that's a great thing to see a veteran go, I can still play another year. And then now I'm going to the other side. Now, who's playing there? Jarrigan's taking the bull by the horns. Howie took care of him. He's going to be the center. And now we have the coach, the O-line coach. It got a Jets player that was, drafted first-round pick. They said, oh, he's a bust. He's a bust. They're already talking that he's playing out of his mind under this offensive line, and that he's playing really great, and he's exactly what they need. And it's just everybody's cheering for him. And what he said in the press conference is, everybody's team here, everybody's wishing you back. And that's what you don't get at other places. That was a little shot at the bell for the Jets. But it's really cool to see someone go, hey, man, this is a different atmosphere that I'm going to shine in. And that just screams out to, from the top, Jeffrey Lurie, so all the way to the bottom of the guys that are cleaning out the lockers and helping the players out. I say congrats to you guys. You guys are building a really good franchise. You guys are really keeping a great base down. And it's just making the coaches' lives easier and making everybody else's lives easier. And the fans' lives easier, because we don't have any drama.
I think that those are all great points, Frank. Since I last seen you on my team, son, you really matured into a good young man. But with that being said, Longo, I want you to give me 100 burpees, 100 suicides, and 100 bear crawls, damn it.
I'll die.
Keep a straight face. Oh, my God. But point being, oh, my God, you guys hit the nail on the head. The fact that Saquon Barkley is out there hanging out with Will Shipley. The fact that A.J. Brown is getting these guys together, even getting pissed about his position as a whole in the NFL, talking about starting wide receiver university-esque shit. I didn't know A.J. Brown, was like that, but he's like that, man. He is definitely like that. And I think it's good to see A.J. Brown getting more comfortable in this city. A.J. Brown feeling like he can reach out to other people and know that it doesn't matter what anybody says except for him, A.J. Brown. I love the fact that A.J. Brown is making himself more vulnerable this year, if anybody notices that or not, because I think that he's being more of a team guy. He was already a team guy, but he's being even more of a team guy. What's the best thing that you can do when it ain't working? Fucking try it even more. Spray some more WD-40. I mean, what the hell is it going to do? Not shit. But I will say this as well, gentlemen, on the topic of chemistry. Head to toe, this team's got chemistry. We know that. This offensive line, I mean, talking about they got city slickers, shit kickers, and a sexy Alcy. I mean, they're athletic beasts, units, and they all hang out. That's the dangerous thing for all of you motherfuckers in the NFL. These guys are not just friends. They're fucking brothers.
They made an album together.
What makes them fucking dangerous. You're goddamn right, Longo. They made a fucking album together. That's nuts. What other team is doing that? And, back in the day, it's nothing new for Eagles offensive lines to have chemistry. Stout and you, my guy, we go out for coffee every Tuesday morning. Shout out to Stout of you. But he had the guys so well trained that they were doing naked photo shoots back during the Super Bowl season. So it's nothing new for the Eagles to be close and really emphasize that brotherly love.
One thing that I will say, and then we can move on from here, is, I think the retirement of both Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelce, who were, I will say, the leadership, Jason Kelce on the offense, Fletcher Cox on the defense. I really think this chemistry really matters who takes the next step up because, our team's fairly young. The only, veteran we have, the only guy we have is Brandon Graham and Lane Johnson. So it's a matter of who's going to take those reins. As Frank said, the reins have been given to Jalen Carter, I will say. Still Brandon Graham, but Jalen Carter to take control of this team because once you have a departure of somebody who is so good to the city and everything about that, who's really going to be the next step up and take the responsibility of the wins, of the losses, of anything that happens this season. So I really think once we see that and who it's going to be, it's going to be night and day difference, and it's going to be influential and helpful to this team.
Sorry my coach bugged you guys. That guy can be such an asshole at times. My uncle. Anyway, yeah, you guys pretty much hit the nail on everything that I wanted to talk about with the Phillies. Jack, I will kick it to you before we wrap up here to quickly hit us home with the trivia. Time for everybody's favorite part of the show, 302 Trivia, with your host, Jack Dalton, the mayor of Delaware.
Thank you to Tick Pick Dalton. That's the wrong graphic. Do we have the leaderboard or not yet?
No, we don't have it this week, unfortunately. So we'll just ask the question and answer. And I'll have to put my answer in the private chat because my phone died.
That's fine. Thank you to Tick Pick for that sponsorship. Like I said, it's Philly season. Please buy your tickets through Tick Pick. No fees at all. What is the code we used, Dalt?
So if you guys want, thank you for asking. Check the link in our bio. It's a link now. So if you click the link, you'll get $10 off your first order up to $99.
Okay, sounds good. There you go. You heard it here. But tonight's question we have for you is a Phillies question. The question is, what year did the Phillies join the National League? What year did the Phillies join the National League? A, 1896, B, 1997, C, 1925, or D, 1883?
I'm changing mine. I just put it in the chat. I swear to God, if it's the first answer, I'm going to probably flip this desk in this studio and have like an insane rage. No, I'm kidding. I'll give you guys a... Yeah, you can just call it out, Frank. It's just me and Jack now, so we'll just let you guess.
I want to say, what was it? 1880.
So let me read it again, and then you can give me your answer. So like I said, what year did the Phillies join the National League? What year did the Phillies join the National League? A, 1896, B, 1997, C, 1925, or D, 1883?
I'm going to go with A. 18, what was it? 96?
96.
18.
That was the year? That was the answer?
No, that was the answer he was giving me. I've seen it in the chat. Tonight's answer we have for you is, when did when did the Phillies join the National League? The answer for you is D, 1883.
Oh, wow. 3 years off.
The Philadelphia
God damn
Phillies,
it.
The Philadelphia Phillies joined the National League and began playing in 1883, making them one of the oldest continuous one-name, one-city franchises in the professional American sports. So, going to the chat, we have Kathleen Peebles. She got it correct. Ding, ding, ding.
Pebbles.
Pebbles. Conrad Joseph, correct. Again, Kathleen, 1883, correct. Frank said 1896, wrong. Dalton originally said 1883, and then he changed it to 1925. So Dalton, you're wrong.
Was this a trick question? It was the year that they were established, technically, or no? Were they established before that? They've always been in the National League, I guess, is the point.
Yeah. And then we have Ashley from the team with D, 1883. That is correct.
Damn, got me.
Yeah, she's gonna fucking win it this season. She's definitely gonna get the chip. I mean, at this point, she has to at least have a 3-point gap, I think. Tommy's close, 100%. But I think that she's gapping by 3 points at least. But yeah, like Jack said, guys, that's all we got for you. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to give one more shout out to our awesome sponsors, El Diablo, Nick's Pizza, the Sharps app, Klondike Kate's, and I know Tick Pick, of course. If you guys don't buy your tickets through Tick, like Jack said, I know they sponsored 2 big segments for us, but I don't have anything else. The one thing I want to say, if anybody is going to be at the Kelsey event tomorrow, gets any footage, is listening to this podcast before, send it to me. We'll post it. We can add you as a collaborator. It'll get you way more likes than you normally would. I also want to shout out Eagles Mania one more time. If you guys aren't, please join the Facebook group. It is freaking awesome. But that's all I got. I will kick it to Jack without further ado.
Thank you for everyone who stayed on the show tonight. We had 35 viewers, so I appreciate you guys supporting us. We're trying to make this big. I'm not going to be as loud as I usually am because I'm in a hotel room in Virginia. Yeah, exactly. Without further ado, hey, Josh, and he's all the way in Maryland. It's an outro, not an intro. Hit that motherfucking outro.
What we got? 302BIRDS, Stinks. Go Birds.
They trade Tyrese Maxey and I'd be
Oh my gosh.
Your favorite Chicagoan. Go Phils.
As always, God bless. Go Birds.